The Honorable Minister of Education, Dr. Maruf Tunji Alausa, has met with staff unions and executive committee of provosts for follow-up discussion on the resolutions from the last biannual stakeholders meeting. Welcome to Equal Blog and TV. My name is Comfort Olayinka. Stay tuned for more reports. In a bold move to reshape Nigeria's teacher education landscape, the Minister of Education, Dr. Maruf Tunji Alausa, has called for the full implementation of a dual mandate for colleges of education across the country. The dual mandate, which empowers colleges to award both the National Certificate in Education and Degrees Certificate, is seen as a game changer in tackling declining enrollment and improving education standards. Dr. Alausa emphasized that institutions resisting this transformation risk becoming obsolete, urging them to embrace innovation through computational thinking, professional testing, and micro-credentialing.
The enrollment into our colleges of education has gone down precipitously. We've looked at the data precipitously. The college of education that have high enrollment today are the ones that are already doing the quasi dual mandate, which is by affiliation. If you look at those numbers, they have more students in those affiliated programs than the N.C.E. It's the nature of our children. They want to get college. N.C.E. is a good degree. They teach you well, but then perception in the country is changed. Federal College of Education, ACOCA, if they have their dual mandate set up, it will BSc, B.Ed, Federal College of Education, Technical, ACOCA. It's not university given by Federal University of Owerri. So it gives you privilege, it gives you prestige. And we've sat down, we've ironed out all the confusions there. If people are going to get into those degree programs, they will have to meet the 60 month requirement of NUC into those programs. And people that will go to N.C.E. will need to meet those requirements. But the good thing here, why N.C.E. will not go away, we still have some students that are struggling. We'll give them opportunity to get higher education. I visited one Federal College of Education a few months ago. I was impressed. Young kids, hundreds of them, that they were in the N.C.E. program. So the way you now have, if the College of Education do it well, you will have more enrollment than universities. You have more enrollment than polytechnics because you've given children that don't have the opportunity to go to university or polytechnic with the credit. You've given them pathway. At the same time, you're absorbing students that met the requirement to go to universities. So you're eating your cake and having it. At the same time, you're eating your cake and you're having it. You don't now have to, universities are strong now to do remedial courses. You don't need to do remedial courses. You give them this opportunity, and as you have cross-breed of students, they encourage each other. The ones that have gone through N.C.E. can later go and do their B.Ed.
The Minister of State for Education, Professor Suwaiba Saad Ahmed, confirmed that guidelines are ready and the NUC will soon begin resource visitations for accreditation.
Actually, is an opportunity for us to share, for us to learn from one another. How do we make things happen? What are our challenges? How do we solve these challenges? So it gave us a very good opportunity. It brought critical issues to the table, which of course for us, for this particular meeting, is about the dual mandate. At the ministry, we have worked tirelessly so that we can bring a guideline for colleges of education to adapt and also to be on the same page, both the N.C.E., NUC, and then also the colleges of education. I can say that we are almost at the end of the road since we have the guidelines ready and also NCCE is also ready. JAM, though I'm missing representation from JAM at this level, but JAM has already advertised for the dual mandate. And then NUC are also set. They are waiting for the provost to actually submit themselves to them so that they can do the resource visitation. And that is where I have a bit of I think I need to talk to the provost, chairman of provost, committee of provost. Probably you may need to support us to see that what is delaying this particular process. We have shared a contact with of N.C.E rep that is supposed to handle that particular aspect. But from what we are hearing from him, he's yet to get the provost to reach out to him. Only a few have done that. So please, let's see what is telling that process. They are ready. One of the questions that has been asked over and over again is in terms of the guidelines for operating the dual mandate. Most of these institutions that were selected to start this process are institutions that already are operating dual mandate, just that not as an independent institution, but rather in affiliation with other institutions. We are not bringing any guidelines outside the guidelines for the affiliation when you are running degree program in affiliation with the universities in terms of the teachers capacity, teachers needs ratio. All those things we didn't introduce anything for it apart from what is already operational. But some of these programs are saying that where would they get this started? Where were they getting this started when they were doing during the affiliation? And that was what I asked the director colleges of education. I said, I'm confused. Initially, they are doing affiliation, and they have these professors, they have these senior lecturers. Then why are they asking us now that they don't have this started? It's something we want to do, and it's something positive for the College of Education and for our youth and community. So if we start saying we look for problems, then we are unnecessarily delaying the process. But of course, we are here today to actually have this discussion so that we can see what is it that needs to be done and how do we support the process.
The president of COESU, Smart Olugbeko, lauded the minister's efforts, praising his leadership support for teacher education. He criticized the politicized trend of converting colleges to universities and reminded the nation that education reform must begin with empowering teachers.
I want us to understand about the curriculum. We are still much, and we are trying so much to see that we go by global standard. UNICEF and UNESCO are solidly behind us in collaboration. We have done much. We are still waiting, even like I said, there is a study that kind of a baseline study, UNESCO, to see that we help us get a better curriculum. Other international partners are also collaborating with us. Our ECCD is doing very well. I think in Africa, I think our country is one of our school system is one of the countries. Our school system here is one of the countries in Africa that have a good curriculum for ECCD. Malaysia was here the other day, and they felt that they should even copy what we are doing. So because we have been trying to see that we get the right teachers basic level. So as we go on in this discourse, I want you to bring on board NTI. NTI is a body that's really, I can't say, but they run NCC, and by virtue of the NCE, they run NCE by virtue of the curriculum they use. We don't have much control over what they are doing because we hear stories about so many things that our teachers are not doing well. We can only account for those who regulate. I think there should be a synergy between NTI and their programs, and the ministry should look into what they are doing. I'm not saying they're not doing the right thing, but we don't see what they are doing.
This is not a new thing, sir. Before we got to this level, colleges of education graduates used to spend 2 years after their N.C.E program, and that they have been doing for years. Only 2 years before now, their college education graduates, they spend for them to be able to complete their degree. And we believe that if we have this as a game changer, definitely it will make every graduate that have passed through college education to be able to remain in the system, and at the end of the day, they will have an advantage over 4 years. And those people are called double qualified teachers. They are qualified to teach at the primary school level. They are qualified to teach at the level of secondary school, making them to be double qualified. And that we believe will work for the system and will make us to move on. Sir, before I conclude, I want to make a simple analogy to your proposal to have the K-12. The K-12 you have proposed is a very wonderful proposal that will save the system. And for us to be able to have that, the dual mandate has a big role to play. And one thing I want you to know, sir, which you have done very well in that regard, ECD, early childhood, 31 million in the primary school. But at the GSS level, we have only 8 million. Now, what happens? The K-12, which you are trying to bring in, is a kind of a panacea to solve the problem in between the 8 million and 31 million. That means after primary school, about 22 million students do not proceed.
The 18 federal colleges of education are set to roll out the dual certification system by September-October, marking the transformational leap in teacher education designed to inspire and empower the next generation. Other stakeholders present supported the initiative. Comfort Olayinka, Eco Hot Blog TV.